It was horrible. Then I heard the explosions. Pop, pop, pop.
Health concerns prompting an evacuation for residents near a huge chemical plant fire. Our team is in Illinois with a first-hand account from evacuees tonight.
A beautiful start to the week gives way to warmer temperatures and rain chances. Who stands the best chance of that beneficial moisture?
Conquering fear with kisses.
Whoa, my first maskless kiss in a year.
Nervous around needles? We may have found a solution. Meet the four-legged therapist helping patients beat their shot anxiety. NBC 15 News at 10 starts now. Good evening. Right now, the chemical fire just over the state border in ROCKTON, Illinois is still burning. The Illinois governor is deploying the National Guard to help respond to CHEMTOOL tonight. The governor added, quote, "Know that the state of Illinois is doing everything possible to protect you and your loved ones." And this is only about 5 miles south of Beloit. Everyone within a 1-mile radius has already been evacuated. Everyone within a 3-mile radius is asked to wear a mask tonight.
Now, the fire is too big to put out. Local authorities are focusing on containing it and just letting it burn out. We have team coverage tonight, so let's start with NBC Brittany Ehrman live in ROCKTON right now. Brittany, health officials spoke this afternoon saying the health of those who live nearby is the focus tonight.
Mariah, this fire has been burning for 15 hours. And John, like you said, officials say if you live within 3-mile radius of this fire, then you need to wear a mask to make sure that you're protected from inhaling fumes. And I spoke to people who live nearby, and they tell me they can't go home tonight because this fire keeps burning.
Went in the living room, looked out my window, and I said, "Oh my God."
Thick clouds of smoke billowing into the sky for hours.
It was horrible. Then I heard the explosions. Pop, pop, pop.
Sharon Camillo caught a glimpse of the flames firsthand this morning. She lives a block away from the CHEMTOOL facility.
The Roscoe police came around. I rolled the window down. He says, "Evacuate." I said, "Okay."
Camillo and at least 1,000 of other ROCKTON residents were evacuated if they live within a 1.5-mile radius of the plant.
So now we're here.
At Roscoe Middle School, an evacuation site about 10 minutes from the plant.
It's scary. I've only been here a year. I just moved here.
The clients have really talked to us about, that call that they got, or people telling them they needed to leave and evacuate and what that meant. And they were assured, they were a little afraid.
The Northwest Illinois chapter of Red Cross set up shop in the school, providing food, water, and comfort to those displaced.
We have that cycle: prepare, respond, and recover, and that's really what our volunteers have been doing.
Fire officials say it could take several days before the fire is fully contained, giving Camillo no clear date of when she can go back home.
I want to go back home. I'm comfortable there. I like it there.
And the Red Cross representative tells me this community is resilient. She says businesses were calling, asking how they can help, offering to drop off food to displaced residents. People coming in from every direction, stepping up to give this community some relief. Live in ROCKTON, Brittany Ehrman, NBC 15 News.
Brittany Ehrman, thank you. We know there were at least 150 people evacuated from their homes tonight. Again, those chemicals in the air are what officials are focusing on right now.
One of those is lead. The other ones is basically what is antifreeze, nitrogen, sulfuric acid, and a few others.
All right, hearing that, let's bring in meteorologist Brian Dukes. Brian, you've been tracking the plumes of smoke all day. So is the wind a concern here?
Yeah, and that's the most important thing, John, because we need to track where that smoke plume is going to be going. And we've been tracking that on our radar all day. The smoke is so thick, it's going so high in the atmosphere that our radar is actually thinking it's precipitation. Here's a look at that plume from earlier today in ROCKTON, kind of drifting southward as those winds were generally out of the south. This smoke plume was climbing to a height of about 5,000 feet. Now, winds are calming tonight, and I think it's going to push that wind a little more westerly. The other concern is as the winds calm and temperatures cool, that smoke's going to start drifting towards the ground, and that's something officials will have to monitor as we head into the morning hours.
All right, Brian, thanks. Again, we expect this fire to actually burn for several days. NBC 15 will continue monitoring both air and ground quality during that time.
Stay with our team on air and online as we continue to monitor the fire burning across this state border.
Well, back here at home, we are looking at pretty nice conditions as we head into the next couple of days. Had a few clouds out there this afternoon. Skies have cleared, and it's going to be a pretty picture-perfect evening out there. Maybe even want to kind of open the windows, give the air conditioner a little bit of a break, because look where overnight lows are going, down into the middle and upper 50s. You add in the very low humidity levels, and it's going to be one of the more comfortable starts to the day that we've really had in quite some time. Enjoy it, though, because the heat is going to make a return. We are now officially the warmest start to June we've ever experienced, dating back to 1869. 75.6 degrees is our average temperature, and we've only had 1/10 of an inch of rain at the Dane County Regional Airport. We are now in a tie for the 5th driest start to June on record as well. Now, along with that heat, I am tracking a chance of rain. We're going to time that out for you coming up in your full First Alert forecast.
One person's in custody after an elderly woman was found dead this morning in a garage in rural Rock County. The death has not been ruled a homicide. Instead, authorities are calling this a, quote, complex violent death investigation.
I heard my dog howling at the sirens. That's how I even knew that there was anything going on.
Right now, we know law enforcement took a family member of the victim into custody as a person of interest. We asked a Rock County Sheriff's Commander to clarify what exactly that term complex violent death investigation means, but he couldn't provide any more information for us.
She goes to our church and stuff, and like I say, we've known him since we were little.
Right now, the victim has not been identified, nor has the relative in custody. The Sheriff's Department added it doesn't know when an autopsy on the victim will be conducted.
Former Wisconsin Badgers football player and Hall of Fame inductee Tom Burke is arraigned on 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual assault tonight. According to the criminal complaint, the alleged assault happened in Minnesota with a 7-year-old girl. Burke's bail is set at $100,000.
An update tonight on last week's murder investigation in Beloit. The police department now has 19-year-old Journey Weathers Jr. in custody, charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the shooting death of 25-year-old Dravion Allen. This happened on Porter Avenue last Monday. Police say Weathers turned himself in today, and now all 3 suspects are in custody.
One person's in the hospital tonight following this car on fire in Monona. The Monona Fire Department says smoking materials are to the blame. Now, one person was found inside the car sleeping when the fire started. That person was taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
New tonight, recent reports suggest that suspected suicide attempts among adolescents increased during the pandemic. This trend is impacting both boys and girls. Looking at hospital data from January 2019 to May of this year, CDC researchers found that ER visits for suspected suicide attempts among kids ages 12 to 17 began to increase in May of 2020, just 2 months into the pandemic. This was especially true for girls, with an increase of about 26%, and the rate for boys increased by about 3%.
There was an earlier report on private healthcare claims that showed that there was, between 2019 and 2020, there was a 100% increase in terms of claims for depression, mental health, and substance abuse among young people.
We want to remind you, if you or someone you know needs help, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. Parents are also encouraged to talk to their kids about mental health regularly.
New at 10, a moment of silence in Washington, D.C. to honor 600,000 American lives lost to COVID-19. Of those 600,000 deaths, about 7,200 of them were right here in Wisconsin. But a sign of hope. COVID-19 operations at Alliant Energy Center shut down next Saturday, June 26th. Public health officials say there is no longer a need for such a large location, with testing down and vaccinations up. Testing and vaccinations will continue to exist in public health offices.
Also starting today, 6 DHS community vaccine clinics are reducing their hours. This includes the Janesville-based clinic located at Black Hawk Technical College in Rock County. And a new study suggests Pfizer is effective against the Delta variant, the one first identified in India. British researchers say it's 96% effective after both doses.
Researchers added that level of protection is comparable to the Alpha variant, which was first identified in the United Kingdom. Now you can see that variant makes up most of the cases variants in the state right now. But there may soon be another COVID-19 vaccine in play. Novavax says its 2-dose vaccine is about 90% effective. That would put the vaccine about on par with Pfizer's and Moderna's.
New at 10, the American Academy of Pediatrics is updating its guidance for youth returning to sports. The association says unvaccinated athletes should wear a face mask for all indoor sport activities. Outside, those unvaccinated only should while on the sidelines or if there is sustained contact of 3 feet or less. $13.5 million. That's how much the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction is approving for charter schools. The funds will help open or expand charter schools in the state.
New at 10, a Janesville manufacturing company is increasing wages through October, and they're hiring more than 150 new employees. Morgan Truck Body says employees will get $17 per hour starting Monday and ending October 3rd. Right now, the worker shortage is giving teenagers more opportunities. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, unemployment among teenagers ages 16 to 19 stood at 9.6% in May of 2020. Now that level has not been seen since the early 1950s. Right now, the Wisconsin Job Center reports 108,000 job openings in Wisconsin.
Some of those openings are impacting Summerfest. Right now, the Milwaukee County Transit System is short 60 bus drivers, meaning there won't be a shuttle service going to the festival this year. A positive note, Maxwell Street Days Summer Sidewalk Sale will return to State Street in downtown Madison for its 44th year. This year's event will expand from 3 days to 4 days. That is scheduled from July 15th to the 18th.
And the city of Sun Prairie is temporarily changing its name to Fun Prairie next month. The name change is in honor of Parks and Recreation Month that's celebrated annually during July. As part of the celebration, the city plans to highlight the many recreational activities that Fun Prairie has to offer. Okay, we've had a lot of serious news today, so let's go to the Henry Vilas Zoo. This is Kuza, the tiger, and he was happy to show off his bag of treats today. Keepers often use paper bags to protect the treats and hide them from the birds, the chipmunks, or other small animals that could come into his habitat.
He's not letting that go anywhere. Well, still ahead at 10. Nervous to get your COVID-19 vaccine? There's a furry friend who wants to help you out.